Hi everybody, welcome back. So I'm doing some small thumbnails. One was a little loose picture, just practicing, and then on composition and stuff. And then the second one was using some of those techniques and mixed in with a little bit of Nero art as well that we was doing the other day. And so here I'm doing different layers. What I'm not showing you here is that in between each layer that I'm doing, I'm drying it with a hairdryer and then coming back to it because otherwise, it's just all going to run into itself and it's just going to all turn into like a mud colour. So it's important to dry each layer unless you're doing a little bit of wet on wet. So I'm just dabbing this back now with a baby wipe. So I wanted to add a little bit of red, but then I wanted to knock it back a bit. Next, the blue splodges that have appeared, I wanted to cover those with another layer that was a little bit more transparent, and then I will knock that back a little bit as well with the baby wipe. So I'm using the indigo again, but I've watered it down a little bit. It's not really it's not really pigmented and thick. I've done it with quite a lot of water, and then while it's still wet, I'm going to get a fresh baby wipe and knock it back a bit. I think that what happens is with the baby wipes is why they're so good is because they have like alcohol in them in certain ones, and then in certain ones others they haven't. So I'm just dabbing this on now. I also put in a little bit of yellow and green in there, believe it or not, just to add a little bit more to the background. So I'm putting the baby wipe on here now and just dabbing it down in different places, and then I'm going to carefully peel it off just like I did in the last video. This is all while it's still wet. I'm being very careful, but I'm not being overly precious because it's just in my, there we are, you see it's knocked all that colour back and left the splodges what I wanted to leave. So now I want to knock the splodges back a little bit more, so I'm adding a little bit of white, but I expect that they'll turn a little bit more grey, the white will, because I didn't dry this layer in between, so I'm actually doing wet on wet. So here comes the white in now. So I had a little bit of dark first, and then I added in a little bit of white. But like I say, because it's in the sketchbook, I'm not precious about it. I'm playing, and it's good. And then you can try out all these little techniques of splatters and all sorts. That's what I'm doing here with my finger and taking my time, dipping it in. It's only dipped in watercolour. If I wanted the splatters of white to really stand out, I would dry it first, and then I would apply the splatters of white, but not with watercolour. Then you need to go back in with either white acrylic paint, or I just use gesso, to be honest, and just tiny bit of water, mix it up, and then just splatter it on, and then it comes back like really nice. So I'm going in now with a permanent marker, a fine liner that it is, going around the splodges that I've created, and as you can see, I've created all these beautiful marks, and I'm going around them, the ones that I can see that I want to use, and I'm going to use these for a little bit of Nero art. It's not going to be a Nero art picture, but I'm just going to put a little bit of Nero in, just because I felt like doing it, and I was doodling and creating, and that's why I've not been overly precious. And like I said, just trying out new techniques. So it's good to do this, and it really is quite fun. Yes, it's quite quite rough around the edges, and just with a permanent mark. I think I quite like the look of it being quite rough around the edge at the moment, especially in my sketchbook. It makes it a bit different when I turn the pages, and I want to get used to doing one this size so that I can use a smaller sketchbook, so that I could take that out with me and it won't take so long to do a painting, and I can just sit there and do like more or less what I'm doing now, really. Trying out little different techniques, and once I've got some techniques that I really, really like, I wasn't over thrilled with this one, but I think it's important to show you paintings that I'm not thrilled with as well as ones that I am. It's so that I can show you that, you know, not all things turn out the way that you want them to, and that's what our sketchbook is for, this particular sketchbook. If I was, I've just bought a little tiny one actually. A friend of mine had got one, and I thought, oh, do you know what? I fancy one as small as that. And it'll be just a little bit bigger than these pages that I'm using now, these little thumbnails. Although these thumbnails aren't as small as what you think, because this is an A4 sketchbook, so they're bigger than what you think. So moving on now, adding a few splatters, and I've done a little bit of Neuro art there. I liked it because the splatters went on the outside. That I like that effect. And I did those splatters, the black ones, literally just from the fine liner pen. I just flicked it, and it came out lovely actually. And it was quite good because you got good control. And then I could see, I was like thinking, this could go into a little bit of a garden actually. So I could add some flowers or a meadow, and lightened it up at the top, and started to get a bit carried away and experimenting, and yeah, enjoyed it. In between these layers though, I did dry it. So I'm just showing you now. This was the other picture I did really, really loose, and that was quite fun as well. And then the white marks were just the stencils that I'd done on top, and then I added a little bit of white gesso with that, so that they knocked them back a little bit, and then I splattered over the top of that as well. But all in all, it was good fun on the bench today, and came up with this really loose picture. This was fun, just practicing a little bit of composition with two cars going down the road and some wobbly buildings and things, and practicing like a wet look on the floor, which I quite enjoyed that. And then of course I used the app and then blew them up, just to have a look at what they would look like from a distance. Obviously they're very dark, and that was a bit disappointing because I'd overworked them. But like I said, working in your sketchbook, that's what it's all about. It's great fun. Still really enjoyed doing it, and still got some really nice effects. Does it matter? No, of course it doesn't. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I've enjoyed doing it, and I thought that I would show you, and I'll talk to you all again soon. You can see how tiny they are now in the sketchbook from a distance. Bye.